What's up, everyone? We are live at 5. It's May. It's May Day.
It's our birthday, our anniversary.
Oh, that's right. 19 years ago today, we launched Broadway.com.
Yes, we did.
I mean, and other people too, but 19 years ago. Thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot.
It's weird because I'm only 27.
And it's also my birth month, so May is always very exciting
Totally.
for you because of that. We are here at Broadway.com. It's May 1st. I'm Paul Montour.
I'm Beth Stevens.
That's Caitlin Moynihan.
Hello.
One of our favorite people in the world is here today, who happens to also now be a 3-time Tony Award nominee.
Robin
Fancy
DeJesus.
AF. Robin DeJesus, that's his name. Robin DeJesus of Jesus from The Boys in the Band, which I'm sure you saw last summer. And if you didn't, you're still going to get to see it. We're going to talk about
right.
all of that, but first, today's Top 5.
The Family Harvest is coming to a city near you.
You guys, the Goose is going on tour. The Ferryman will go on tour.
And the babies.
And the babies. And all those people, all those Irish people are going on tour. Next, we're a little flat
And all
happy
those
today.
stairs,
Yeah,
all the
lots
stairs.
of stuff
All
is
the
going on
stairs.
tour. The Ferryman is going on tour during the 2019-2020 season. They already have some markets.
How odd to announce a national tour during Tony Month.
Especially when you have a bunch of Tony nominations. How weird. The Ferryman received 9 Tony. We're so slap happy. It's been a long day. Received 9 Tony
days.
nominations. Well-deserved Best Play, directed by Sam Mendes. It will hit Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, my hometown of Cleveland, Dallas, his hometown of Hartford, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, St. Paul, that's one city, San Francisco, Schenectady, that's how you pronounce it, Seattle,
love it.
Tampa, Toronto, and Washington, and I'm sure a bunch of other markets.
I mean, that's additional markets, so why do we name those markets?
I just want to say the list.
To tease.
We have no casting or other stuff. Everything will be announced at a later date.
The Sun is staying on Broadway for a little bit longer.
So another Best Play nominee is James Graham's Inc. over at Manhattan Theater Club's Samuel J. Friedman Theater, and it has now been extended for the 3rd time. Is this the third? So it's the second
I feel like we
extension.
talk about it
Second
every week.
It's just going to keep
Third-
going. It's going
third
to keep
date.
going. It's going to go now until July 7th. And for now. And this is all about what? It's about the Sun.
It's about Rupert Murdoch's media empire with Larry Lamb being the editor of The Sun
Exactly.
in London.
And it starts Johnny Lee Miller and Bertie Carvel. Spoiler alert, he's going to be our guest tomorrow. I'm
Spoiler.
sorry, I
That doesn't
spoiled
spoil
it
the
for
show.
you. He's Tony nominated, Bertie Carvel. You may have seen him as Miss Trunchbull in Matilda. Do you remember that? That was good.
That was good.
Anyway, and it's directed by 2019 Tony nominee Rupert Gould, who also directed American Psycho that we love here at Broadway.com.
And other things.
I just have to bring up random things like that all the time. Anyway, congratulations to everyone over at Inc. You're going to keep going.
And congrats are in order for all the nominees of the Off-Broadway Alliance Awards.
You know, it's not just Tony nomination week. It's Off-Broadway's Alliance Awards nomination week.
Who knew?
I'm a little tired. Here we go. 9th Annual Off-Broadway Alliance Awards, honoring commercial and not-for-profit productions that opened last season. Winners in all categories will be announced on May 22nd. A lot of Broadway shows started off-Broadway this season, and they have been nominated, including Be More Chill, What the Constitution Means to Me, and Oklahoma. The full list of nominees is on Broadway.com.
And these puppets are having a new home in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so everyone knows. I love that you're laughing. Everyone knows Avenue Q. Do you love just the idea of visiting
I love
them
the
at
idea. I love the
Smithsonian?
idea that they're
You
just
look
there.
so joyful.
It's just such a fun.
Come on.
Like,
So Avenue Q, we all love Avenue Q, don't we?
Yes.
It's ending its 16-year run. So that's total combined. Is that what it is?
Yes.
At New World Stages on May 26th. And some of Rick Lyon's puppets will be part of the Popular Entertainment Collection at the National Museum of American History at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. We love that. Original cast members Jennifer Barnhart and Rick Lyon, who conceived and directed and designed the puppets, will be at the induction ceremony on Saturday. Did it already happen?
The
it
induction already happened.
It's already there.
They're there.
They're there.
Just stop watching
So
this.
wait,
And go, if you're in Washington, go
Wait,
see those puppets.
Do we know which puppets? Is Lucy T. Slut in the Smithsonian?
Do we
I
know?
need
Yeah.
to
Do we know which puppets?
Is
are
Trekkie Monster.
The thistles,
The monster
Thistletots.
and Rick and Dawn.
You don't know.
Rick and Dawn.
What you say is you don't know. Okay, got it.
Just go.
They're there.
Just go to the
Princeton,
popular
Kate Monster.
culture.
I know
thing.
my
and-
Avenue Q.
Yeah.
And the cast of Hadestown was really living it up last night.
You know what happens?
That's a lyric reference. I love to
Oh.
acknowledge lyric references.
Thank
Very
you.
clever.
Thank you.
It seems like 20 years ago that the Tony nominations came out, but it was just yesterday. And Hadestown got 14.
Yeah.
And then they celebrated with a jam session
Woo.
outside the theater. We have photos of this on the site. And let me see if I'm reading this correctly. They celebrated with 14 cakes. Were
Yes,
these-
they did. Each cake had a
Each
number
cake.
on it. And we have a photo of Andre DeShields holding number 14. And I thought, no, honey, you're number 1.
Mic drop. That's the end of that story.
That's the story.
That's the whole story. There you go.
So also the reason why we're so tired is because we've been up really early the last 2 mornings. And today there was a big press junket. We're going to talk about it with Robin of Jesus in a minute. But we have a lot of photos, right? You interviewed 58, Beth interviewed 58 Tony nominees.
And
this
now
morning.
I will be going on vocal rest, and I will see you on Monday. No, that's not true.
So anyway, go see all the photos.
Yeah.
And we have a Save the Date feature.
Yes,
things
our picks for May.
New things are happening.
there's
It's
even a
not just all
Broadway-
about. It's not all about the last season. New things are happening.
That's
on
true.
Broadway.
There's a Broadway opening in May.
I know. I
Unusual.
chose it on Save the Date.
did.
Go read
Go
the
read it.
feature.
I won't
Find
tell you
out
what
what
it
it
is.
is. Frankie and Johnny. It's not really a secret.
This is just an episode of spoilers. I'm going to get out of here
Thank you, Beth. It's been good to see you.
for 19 years.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
That was
It wasn't
cute.
that sweet.
That was
Caitlin,
sweet.
tell us more about today's guest.
That was sweet. And yes, we have newly minted 3-time Tony nominee Robin DeJesus in the studio with us today to celebrate his Tony nomination for The Boys in the Band. You remember that show. He also has Tony nominations for his work in the Heights and La Caja Falls. His other Broadway credits include Wicked and Rent. Spoiler, he's going to reprise his Tony-nominated performance of Emery in Ryan Murphy's upcoming Netflix movie adaptation of The Boys in the Band. Follow him on social media at Robin of Jesus and leave all of your questions in the comments below. Please welcome Robin and Paul.
Thank you, Caitlin.
What up?
You know, you don't get round of applause every day. I mean,
That's very sweet.
pretty
Thank
special.
you.
We like having you here.
I like being here.
And we like having you as a Tony nominee. This is like a thing now.
So does my mom.
I'm sure. So yeah. So tell me about your mom yesterday.
Yo, mom is like already starting a diet. She's like,
Why, is she going to the
She's
Tonys?
She's my date. She's
Okay.
like, I want to look really fierce in a dress.
Okay.
She'll probably have her own hair, a horse's hair, and just like a big updo. Like she loves extra pieces of hair.
Fantastic. Is she gonna walk the red carpet with you?
I guess.
I want a red carpet moment.
With my mom, absolutely,
Yes.
all day.
Yeah, maybe your
Every
mom
day.
and Andre DeShields. Maybe like get
That
them
would
together.
be so. That is a TV show. Ryan Murphy, can you put that on Netflix?
That would be epic.
Andre DeShields and Emma Figueroa.
That's the reality show that needs to happen. So let's just remind everyone you were nominated in 2008. What
for
was
In the
that
Heights.
for? That was a good
In the
show.
Heights.
Do you remember that show?
That's my baby show.
That was a good show, Sonny. That was a good one. And they're making a movie of it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Are you like wildly jealous that you're not like dancing
No.
and 96,000 in the movie? Or?
I mean, like that would be fun, but
You're
I'm
gonna
also
salsa
like
by or
I could
something?
also be Kevin at this point. You know what I mean?
Aw.
Like, so it's like bye train. No, it's funny. I actually like coached an actor for Sunday
yeah?
the movie. Yeah, and he got really far.
Somebody who was going in for it?
Yeah,
You were
someone
like,
that I was a
I know
fan
this
of.
show.
Well, no, actually, I pitched him.
Oh.
I was like, I want Sunny to be fierce, and
Oh,
there's someone that I
oh.
really, really loved, and I was like, you need to see this person. And I saw Bernie Telsey, and he was like, who are you talking about, yada yada, and we fixed it, and like I spoke to him on the phone and just like talked it over.
And you also did Usnavi not long ago.
Yeah, I did Usnavi last, I guess a year and a half ago now, back in
So
Maryland.
it's a bit. I love that show so much. I
Me
listen to that
too.
album all the time.
I actually do like In the Heights workout day. It's really weird. It's like I'm a fan of my own show.
You should be. It's
Yeah.
a fantastic show. And then 2 years later, you were outrageous in La Cage and nominated for that, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
And now look at you. Now, Boys in the Band. Obviously, the show it was a limited run last summer. In fact, yesterday wasn't it the
First
1 year
preview.
anniversary of the first preview?
The 29th, yeah.
That's crazy. And so
Or 30, I guess. 30.
1
30.
year later, you got a Tony nomination. That's nuts.
It is nuts. It is. It's really weird and surreal, and also I've been really like emotional for the last 36 hours.
Yeah.
Like I started initially as like Viola Davis sobbing tears with my friends, and then it became like a Donna Murphy single teardrop throughout the day. So I'm just like walking down the street, it's just like Delicious nectar from the top. It's just like all day. But it's also been really great because I feel like people have been really genuine and very kind because it was such a surprise and it was so far.
Yeah.
It was so removed, and you know, so it's like.
How were you feeling a year ago on that first preview? How were you feeling about stepping on stage with that intimidating group of men? I mean, that cast was incredible. How were you feeling at that point?
You could tell from my face that I was like having feelings. It was the most neuroses inducing thing I had done, and it was really interesting being around that group of men because I was very curious to like see what their magic was, what made them successful, and what was really cool was like at the end of the day, what made them special was their work ethic. They were they were hustlers. They were constantly doing stuff. You gave them
Charlie
a note. They took
Carver
on.
was the actual hustler.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
show.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just-
yeah,
Let's just
yeah,
be clear about the plot, but they were all hustlers. Okay.
Yeah, no, but those dudes, like, they were just at it every day. You gave them a no once, and they took it the next day. It was implemented. They were on top of their stuff, and that sort of lit a fire under me. Which the flare up was the desire to not be the one who dropped the ball, and it was also related to like I was being really difficult. I was being really hard on myself because I could feel that there was something missing, and what was missing was my lack of awareness of how much privilege I have as a modern day gay man. Because you know the manifestations of oppression and shame are all very similar, but they're variations on them and they're in different extremes. And so what they experienced in 1968 is very different from what I experienced today as a gay man.
Right.
And it just didn't click. Something that was like so in your face, you know. And then once I could lean into that. I started to find more, and Joe, of course, was like the wizard. He's a wizard. But that first preview, once we had the audience, I think for all of us, it was like, that's the rhythm. Martin knew where the laughs were gonna be, most likely, and so there's just like everything flowed so much better.
Yeah.
And also the show is just, it feels icky. Like other shows, you can feel like you're in the pocket, you're in a groove, and you know when you have a good show. With that show, you don't even bother trying to wonder if you had a good or a bad show. Just do your job.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And Emery is a fantastic character. I mean, has he lived with you over the time since the show? Do you think about him? And I know
do.
you're going to jump back in and do this film.
I do. There's like a word that keeps coming up, and that word is pride. And, you know, one of Joe's big thing was, you know, we talked about Joe Mantello. Yeah, sorry, thank you, Joe.
director.
Just casually dropped Joe. But you know, Joe would always say to me, you know, how Emery was the bravest of them, of the group. He was the one that was the least afraid to be his authentic self, and you know, with that comes a sense of pride. And I started pride kept coming up too with the idea because Pride Month.
Yeah.
You're doing a show.
World
with
Pride.
World Pride.
World
Yes.
Pride is coming up.
And then like 9 out gay men together. There was like pride just kept coming up.
Yeah.
But then there's also like pride, the idea of like the proud people that I come from as like a Puerto Rican man in my family, and the power and the strength that my ancestors have, and somehow like that all just made everything so much more weighted and grounded and real, and so it still to this day keeps coming back.
Yeah, Pride.
Yeah.
That group of men, obviously you grew really close over the summer, I believe, and you are the nominee. You were nominated. You feel like you're sort of like honoring the whole company. It was an amazing company.
It was one of those
amazing companies
company.
where like you kind of wish like it would be so cool if there was like an ensemble award.
100%. I thought about it today.
The whole thing.
You know, there was like an initial feeling watching all the nominations of like, oh man, I wish we had gotten a couple more.
Yeah.
I'm happy to represent for the group. They were so good, and it was such a group affair. Like it was like. I wish people could just watch the eye contact that was happening in the show, because there were so many people to play with the whole time.
Well, the whole play took place in an apartment. By the way,
That
one of the
set.
Tony snubs I was most upset about was David Zinn for that
All
set
day,
design. Because
every day.
that set design was, first of all, I wanted to live in it. What was it like? You were actually in it, and you're right, you were all sort of interacting. There was all sorts of things. I'm sure that developed over time too.
Every
although,
night was
like,
different. Every
yeah.
night, yeah. Like it was never boring, because you could just like focus on so many different people and focus on so many different relationships in different parts of the show. But that set was fire. David Zinn did this luscious, like deep, like maroon, like a burgundy carpeting and mirrors. It was sexy.
Yeah.
And then the idea of like mirrors everywhere, because you're constantly seeing yourself. And reflecting on yourself and
I
taking
always
in
say
that.
this, but my favorite part was the harsh fluorescent light right outside the front door.
Oh, yeah.
When you open the front door, something was like a sketchy New York
Like the
apartment
apartment's amazing
hallway.
and the door opens and it's just brushettery.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just a ratchet
yeah.
hallway.
Yeah, it was brilliant. So can we talk about these guys that your boys in your band? Can we talk about them?
Yeah, please.
I came up with some fun little let's give me some quick answers about them. Okay, just like whatever comes to mind. Okay. The boy in the band that you heard from first when you got Tony nominated.
It was Brian Hutchison. I hope.
Nice. Boy in the band you were a fanboy of going into it.
Andrew Reynolds.
Andrew Reynolds.
Yeah.
Boy in the band that you would like to switch roles with in the show.
Zachary Quinto.
I'm into that. Boy in the band who made you laugh the most.
I mean, Andrew. It's like you pee.
It's a lot.
Puddles, pools, pee,
It's a
everywhere.
lot. Boy in the band that surprised you the most.
And just overall, in any sort of
maybe
way.
your perception of them.
Michael Benjamin Washington. I love that man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was great in a different Lacage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's such a classy dude. When I did the revival of Lacage was 5 years after he played the same
Yeah.
role as me. And on Facebook, we had never met, but we were friends. And he just wrote, sending you all the Jacques Hope love in the world. And he was always just like so sweet and
Amazing.
so cool about it. Yeah.
Boy in the band that intimidated you the most.
Quinto.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
Boy in the band that would be really good to have around in a crisis.
Quinto.
Really? Were there any crises he had to solve?
No, Quinto's not, I think, who you think he is. He's a really good person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy-
Not that you think he's a bad person.
No,
that was
but
douchey.
that's like
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Boy in the band who probably knows the most In the Heights lyrics.
Andrew.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious. Boy in the band who looked best in David Zinn's fabulous getup because he also did the costumes.
Charlie Carver, that beautiful
Cowboy.
man.
Cowboy.
I'm gonna get in trouble with Charlie today because I've definitely said some things about him today.
You mean at the press? At the press event?
They asked me like, is there ever like a cast member that you would want to like?
That
do
sounds like a
things with.
Broadway.com question. That's the kind of questions we ask. Boy in the band that has something you want.
Ooh. Jim Parsons got that TV money. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Boy in the band you stayed up latest at one night, like at night with.
Charlie.
Yeah.
And not the way you think after what I said. Charlie and I, for Charlie's birthday, we all got a karaoke room in Koreatown.
Oh.
Matt Bomer is full out, no marking. He brings wigs, props. Oh no,
Wait a minute. Matt Bomer was here and he was talking about he really wants to do a musical, right? Like
He sings.
And he what was he singing? Tell me about Matt Bomer at the karaoke bar with the wigs on.
he
Where are
started
the
with-
photos of that?
Well, I'm not gonna share that. Okay. He started the night with CeeLo's "Forget You." Yeah.
Wow.
She's
Matt
she's an
Bomer.
alto.
Bring it. Oh.
She's an
Wow.
She's an alto.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot what else, but there were some like really. Life is a mystery. Everyone will stand by the Madonna song.
Oh.
Like a prayer.
Yeah, like a prayer.
And then skipped around
Matt Bomer, like a prayer.
all day. It was amazing. But that night we were celebrating Charlie, and when we left, there was a halal cart, and I love street meat. All day, every day, I love street meat, and this is the perfect shirt today. It gives me so much to do. But Charlie and I sat there after everyone had left, pretty wasted, and we went to the halal cart. It's like when we had like a chicken and rice bowl, and we were gonna split it because calories. And the guy says I don't have any chicken right now. All I have is mixed meat. And I was like,
meat in the middle of the
YOLO.
night in Koreatown from a truck.
From a truck, but it smelled and tasted so delicious. And I asked him 3 times what was in the mixed meat. It's mixed meat. And then I was like, we're doing this. We're doing this. And Charlie literally took a bite and he went, that is literally top 5. One of the best top 5 things I've ever had in my life. And I don't know where I can ever get mixed meat again because it's not on the halal cart menu. I don't.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I love all those guys. What a great. So let's talk about this. So basically, Now, I know the play was produced by David Stone, and also Ryan Murphy was a producer on it. And Ryan Murphy now has this big deal with Netflix,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So he's making a lot, and he also loves Broadway actors, so we love Ryan
He
Murphy.
loves Broadway.
He gives a lot of opportunities to Broadway actors. So what's happening? You're making, I've been hearing whispers of this for a while, but now it's been announced that you're getting back together and making a new film of Boys in the Band.
So the whole show was Ryan's idea, even during the revival on Broadway. But he didn't know the Broadway community. He didn't know how to go. So he got David and Joe and stuff, and he wants to learn. He wants to be a part of our community more. And
He's also making the prom film.
which is amazing. And so he used it as a process to do a show that he wanted to do, to have a cast and sort of recreate what the original did, which have the entire company do the movie as well.
Yeah.
And he's such a champion of people. Like he could have directed the movie himself. And he really was like, Joe, you need to do this. Joe Mantello, you need to do. I keep one name only.
It's all right. You're fancy. A 3-time Tony nominee.
But he always said there would be a movie. But my cynical behind was like, well, I'm gonna be replaced with John Leguizamo, so like, I was like, I'm out the door. It's not happening. But like, they did that. They finally they figured out everyone's schedules. Or we're about to do that. And so we're shooting in July.
How exciting!
I'm beyond.
So it's all going to happen on a soundstage and
a soundstage, but then we're also going to have externals because they're going through the script again and making changes. And Mart's been like really open and cool of like
Mark Crowley,
who
was also there today because
living his
it's nominated
best
for best
life.
revival of a play, and it's adapted from the original script, so they include the writers now in those awards,
which is beautiful, which is how it should be.
Yeah.
No, Mart, it's really beautiful watching Mart because he's having his moment now. That he's deserved for so long.
Yeah,
it's really beautiful. He's genuinely thrilled. He's genuinely he shows up for every single thing he possibly can, and he just loves being there with everyone and rubbing shoulders and stuff. It's great. Yeah,
it's so exciting. Did you get to see any? You went to this event this morning and you got to see all the Tony nominees and you got a little pin and all that. Who are you really excited to see, or did you have any friends there? That I'm sure you have friends.
I was really really excited to see Brooks Ashmanskas.
Yeah.
I think Brooks is like joy on a stick. And he's such a good man.
Yeah.
He's a really good dude, and I've known him over the years. He's one of the top 5 funniest people I've ever met. You leave, your abs hurt. You feel like you have a 6-pack. and it's also like it's very Robin Williams like for me. He just it feels like a non sequitur and after non sequitur and sometimes he's making jokes and I don't know what he's making a joke about, but I am laughing. I have no idea, but it is funny. It's funny. I had a friend who no shade at all. But my friend saw Hamilton and she goes, "I didn't know what was happening, but it was amazing. I loved it."
I think you're joy on a stick too.
Thank you.
Hey, Caitlin,
Yes.
are there any questions out there?
Oh, yes, there are a
sure
ton
there
of
are.
questions. So Cami says, can you talk about some of the differences between originating a musical role, like in The Heights, versus reviving a play role in The Boys in the Band?
Yeah. I mean, originating is like everything gets tailored to you when you do an original, or it can be. So there is it tends to be more in your body and more catered to you.
Right.
Whereas when you're doing a play, you're just trying to find the right fit. And then you're also trying to do your own thing, and you're I'm lucky that I'm so drastically different than most people that I don't have the option of getting stuck in repeating what someone else does. Like it's just I remember during Le Cage, it was like I will never be a tall Cagel. The tragedy of my Jacob is going to be that it will never happen. And that is it. It has to be sad.
Yeah.
So I mean, the main difference is
Well, something like Emery, any gay theater goer over the age of 50 had a very specific idea of what Emery. I'm sure you heard that when you got cast in it. Like Emery was a very specific character based.
It's so specific. It's Pacific.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mad Pacific.
And when I heard your name, I was like, ooh, that's interesting. And
That was all Joe.
Huh?
That was all Joe.
Yeah.
That was
Mantello.
Joe Mantello. That was Joe the Mantello, and that was Rachel Tucker, and I say Laurie Metcalf. because when I was doing,
Okay.
I say that because when I did Domesticate at Lincoln Center, I was only in one scene in that play. So the whole first act, I was getting made up.
Yeah, it was a spoilery scene. It was like a. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I
That was
remember you in
fun.
that.
That was fun. And I had a lot of free time, and I was like, well, I need to do something. So I would, on Sunday nights after the matinee, I would go do like a 70-minute monologue down at the Duplex. And it was a Patty Issues, Ben Rimmelauer show.
Oh yeah, right. That's right.
And
Yeah,
he had this idea of like having someone else play Ben.
That's right.
And it was like gender fluid, race fluid, whatever. And so Lori loves that stuff. She loves like guerrilla theater. She's like very romantic about that stuff. And she's like, I want to come. I want to make sure. And so I set up tickets for her for the closing night. And I had to walk through the audience when the show started. And it's like a bowling alley. It's super narrow and long. And I didn't see who she brought, thank God. And when the house lights came up, it was Joe Mantello. Because I would have wigged. I would have totally wigged. And I remember afterwards, Joe said, like, I'm looking forward to working with you. And I was like, yeah, whatever. You know? And then Wicked happened. By this point, like, Joe has handed it off a little bit. You know, he visits.
Yeah.
And I got a random email from him when I was doing that play Homos or Everyone in America.
Oh, that was good. Yep.
That's another baby one. He said, hey, can you do this reading of the boys in the band? We're doing like an all-star cast, yada, yada. And I couldn't do it. I had to turn it down because of the play, because of rehearsals.
Wow.
And then he was like, don't worry about it, yada, yada. And then when we closed the show, like
John
4
Leguizamo
months
did
later.
it. No, I'm
John
kidding.
Leguizamo, exactly. No, it never happened. It just
okay.
worked out. It never
Okay.
happened. And like the last week, he emailed me and said, hey, can you come do this reading? I'm so long-winded that I don't remember what we're talking about anymore. And
Me
what was
neither,
the
but I'm
question?
into it. It's like
Still I
hanging out
rise.
with Brooks Smanskas. I have no
It
idea,
is.
but I'm into
It's like
it.
Brooks Smanskas.
No idea.
But less funny.
Amazing. This will be our last question.
Okay.
So Marina wants to know, what is the lasting message you want everyone to take home from the boys in the band?
The lasting message is look what happens when we marginalize, oppress, and shame people. You know, for so long, that play from our own gay community has been frowned upon because some of us have felt that it was a bunch of just like sad, pathetic men in a room venting, when in reality, what they're not seeing is that they're not all sad. It's really they might be sad, but really only one of them is a vicious human being, and that's Michael. But the rest of them are coping and trying to survive, and it is the society around them that has oppressed them. And so I wish people would, A, for the play, notice that, but B, take away from that what the effects of shame are.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking back about the fluorescent light in the hallway. 'Cause to me, that was so symbolic of all of that. The world that these guys lived in versus.
I mean, look at the world that
outside.
they create inside. It's just like fabulous and joyous, and like they're coming to party and have a great time. And you open that door and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
oi.
Yeah, it was a really, really special production, and I'm so excited that the Tony nominators remembered Robin De Jesus.
Thank you.
I'm into it. You're like so esteemed now. Like you're getting up on those like
very
you're in the
Felicia
Audra
Rashad.
list. You're up in the Audra world. You're getting up to the multiple visits to the Tonys.
I definitely feel washed over with like just like joy and gratitude today. I keep saying like I'm definitely reduced to mush right now.
Good.
I'm very emotional and sentimental. So
Just one Donna
just
Murphy.
one time. You know, the kind where then you just go like this. And then the song starts.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
We're so
you.
excited to see you at the Tony Awards, Robin De Jesus. And so we don't know when it'll be on Netflix, but at some point.
2020.
2020.
That's all I know.
A lot of good things are happening in 2020 in this
And it'll be in
world.
theaters too, just FYI.
What?
It'll be in theaters as well.
Oh, it will? What?
Spoiler.
I love it. So
hope
like popcorn, and I'm into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, all day.
Okay,
every
good.
day.
All right, and a karaoke party after with Matt Bomer and his wife. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you,
Hey,
Paul.
Caitlin, why don't you take us out?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We are live at 5 every single day on Facebook. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts by searching for hashtag live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow when we talk to Tony nominee Bertie Carvel all about ink.